Hi, I'm Christy Waters, and I'm here with my friend Kim Bakayev. And today we're going to be talking about children. Now, Kim, I'm an educator, and I recently read an article about parents. And you've probably heard the term helicopter parents before. Well, they now have a new term, and that term is lawnmower parents. Lawnmower parents are even worse than helicopter parents. You know, helicopters hover. Lawnmowers go before and clear the path. The whole point of lawnmower parents is for nothing to be in their children's path, to completely clear it out of their way so that they will have no obstacles. Now, biblically, what would you say to that, Kim?
Let me just say I don't mow the lawn because I'm allergic to grass, so I'm not a lawnmower parent by any stretch of the imagination. And I think all of us, especially with that first one that we have, we want to get it right. This is like if you're a student who always had to get A's on your exams or your research papers, this is like the biggest research paper you've ever done, is having this first child. And so I, like most moms, was thinking, I'm going to do this right, I'm going to get it all right. I'm terrified, but I'm going to do it right. And so I'm sorry to my 18-year-old son that you were my practice guinea pig kid, because I did so many things wrong because of thinking that I had to set up the situation to be like this, to make sure that he was going to do this right or make this right decision. And I've learned early on that he's got his own mind, he's got his own call from the Lord, and he's not really mine. I'm just on, he's on loan to me from the Lord, and so I need to be talking to the one who has created him and not making my own decisions about him. So yeah, helicopter, lawnmower, no, that's not for me.
That's a very powerful point. And the other day when Kim and I were talking, she said something that stepped on my toes. And it was, we don't need to be our children's Messiah. And I don't think that I'm my children's Messiah, but I do think that I naturally am a fixer. And I'm kind of a control freak. And when you get those combinations in a person, you want things right for your children. You want to fix their situations. Help me. What do I do when my kids are going through a crisis? What do I do biblically to help them, but not save them and allow them to make some of those mistakes?
Well, as I thought about this, what is our role as parents, as moms, Lord? And I think that oftentimes we as Christian parents, we think of those scriptures, train up your child in the way you should go, and teach our children in the way of the Lord. And of course that's important, that's our role. But if we look at Adam and Eve, who walked with God himself in the garden, and they still made wrong decisions, was that God's fault? Of course not. He provided everything that they needed, the right environment, unconditional love, all the opportunities, but they still made their own choices. But he was there to intercede, to provide a way out for them, to help them through, but he didn't deliver them at that time. He had a plan later for that. So that's something that I've watched as I've got 3 children, teenagers, and boys and girl, and just trying to learn what's my role. Of course, I need to be the one to make sure that they don't pick their nose in church. I'm sorry, that's my responsibility, not Jesus. Making sure that they are responsible to clean their room and learning those kinds of things. But their relationship with the Lord, I think, and how to make decisions, I need to model that more than anything and not be the one to control that. In fact, I had a little bit of a scary situation a couple of years ago. My teenager, I said the first one that I made mistakes, had come home from youth group. And he'd had a great discussion. Whatever they were talking about at youth group, he came home. And of course, my husband was out of town on business. These things always happen when I'm by myself. And he came home, and I asked him how youth group went. And he said, oh, we had these great discussions. And then he said, Mom, what if it all isn't true? And I said, what do you mean if it isn't true? This whole God thing and Jesus, what if when we die, that's it? And of course, on the inside, I'm thinking like, are you kidding? I've invested all these years in you, teaching you the truth. And I just said, nope. I said, well, what do you mean? Let's flesh this out. And of course, on the inside, I was terrified because I wanted him to say, Jesus is Lord. Yes, he's the only way. All of these things that we taught him. But he was at a moment of crisis there. And I just said, Holy Spirit, this is your time to shine. And I just sat back and I let him process through and said, you know what, son, it is time for you to make your relationship with the Lord your own. It's not about me and Dad anymore. And so on the inside, I was praying. I was just seeking the Lord, but I was just trying to honor him and his relationship. The next day, he was fine. He was reading his Bible. He was fine. He was fine. But in those moments of wanting to come in to control, to lawn mow the way that, no, this is what you will believe, I had to trust that the Lord who created him and has a plan for him was good with it. He was all right with those
Wow.
questions, and so I had to let it go.
That's good. So maybe you have a child that is questioning God. Maybe you have a child in crisis right now. And we just encourage you today to trust the training that you've given them, to trust the Father that has chosen you to be their parent. There's a reason why Kim is the mother to these 3 children, and the reason why I'm the mother to my 2 children. He saw something in us, knew that we could handle it with His grace and His help, and you need to just have faith. If you're walking through something right now, give it to the Lord and just trust Him. And just find someone to agree with you in prayer, and we believe great things are going to happen in your lives. God bless you.